On the news, U.S. files fraud charges against Nigerian businessman Dozie Umobosi, ex-Tingo CEO. Army vows to probe candidates claiming Lagos origin in recruitment drive. And Ondo Governor Ayedatiwa suspends LGA caretaker committees appointed by Akeredolu. Hello and welcome to News Now on TV360 Nigeria. I'm Simisola Atikun. Former Chief Executive Officer of Tingo Group, Odogo Banye Mobosi, also known as Dozie Mobosi, has been charged with fraud by U.S. prosecutors in Manhattan. The 45-year-old has been charged with fraud, conspiracy, and forgery by falsifying documents and deceiving investors with false U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission filings. The prosecutors explained that Mobosi, through 2019 to 2023, orchestrated a scheme to enrich himself by falsely representing that Nigerian companies he founded, Tingo Mobile and Tingo Foods, were operational, profitable businesses generating hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue, respectively.
Football enthusiasts know him as the man who wanted to buy English Premier League side Sheffield United at the time in 2022. The same year, he sponsored a pre-season football tournament in Nigeria, promising to make it an annual event, but nothing has been heard about it until it was recently linked to a Nigerian second-tier team, 1472 FC, as the sponsor. The man, Dozie Mobuse, is now enmeshed in a fraud allegation which could make or mar his reputation for life. The United States Securities and Exchange Commission has filed charges against Mobuse and three of the companies Tingo Group, Agri Fintech and Tingo International Holdings, which he is CEO, alleging they inflated the financial performance of the companies and key subsidiaries to defraud investors.
Outside of Nigeria, outside the world. But these guys actually decided to almost create a fictitious, entity and actually boldly put it out there, in a country with the SEC, with the FBI, all these kind of places. And why would you do that? I mean, it's a very, very, it's a very sad and terrible story. And I don't know why they did it, because from day one, it was clear that this business was built on a pack of lies.
It's bad because they're going to say it's a Nigerian that ran this. The bank that I'm seeing on the SEC listing here are Nigerian banks, but still, I have to ask that question in a way. It's very, very bad in terms of the image. It falls into that same, stereotype that we're all fraudsters in quotes, more or less, and that's just going to be bad for us going forward.
In November, the SEC altered trading in Nasdaq-listed Tingo Group and Agri Fintech Securities after finding inaccuracies in their disclosures. The move followed a report by US-based Hindenburg Research in June that called the company an exceptionally obvious scam and caused Tingo's share price to nosedive.
The reason why you go to the US to list is, of course, the compliance, and the risk and the governance that you have in the US market, that investors believe that a higher level of oversight has happened on your books. Clearly, this didn't happen in Tingo's case. He fell through the cracks. He lied his way through, as alleged, and now it's falling apart. So I think if you go in, it's going to be the same level of scrutiny. But the SEC also relies on the auditors and the board to do that secondary, or should we say the primary check on the account before you come to the big board. And I think that's where the failure started, that at the very, very basic level.
There are two Tingo Group subsidiaries believed to be operating in Nigeria. Tingo Mobile, which claims it provides farmers with microloans, weather forecast, and an online marketplace, and Tingo Foods, which product is not seen in any market. These two are also alleged to have grossly inflated valuations in order to attract investors.
I mean, you don't even have an office. It's not as if Hindenburg didn't try to come to the office. They went to Lagos. They went there. They don't find any stuff. They don't find anything. They took pictures. So it wasn't as if they made up a story or anything about it. So by the time that report came out, I mean, Tingo, I guess maybe they could not actually come out and say, oh, sorry, you've caught us. We're sorry.
In April this year, Tingo co-chair Christophe Chalier resigned, citing his unwillingness to sign off on the group's financial statements and the lack of communication and teamwork in the management of the company. Although Mobosi has called the sex allegations baseless and says he will contest them with unwavering resolve, while Tingo Group has also issued a statement that it intends to vigorously defend itself in relation to the SEC complaints. Now we await the outcome of the Security Exchange Commission investigation with bated breath. Jide Olaniran, TV 360 Lagos.
Meanwhile, the three-count charge against Mobosi carries different sentences, with one count of conspiracy, which carries a maximum sentence of 5 years in prison, one count of securities fraud under Title 15, which carries a maximum sentence of 20 years in prison, and one count of making false filings with the SEC, which carries a maximum sentence of 20 years in prison. The United States Attorney for the Southern District of New York, Damian Williams, and James Smith, the Assistant Director in charge of the New York Field Office of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, announced Mobosi's indictment on Tuesday. Correspondent Jide Olaniran completes the story.
Since the story broke in late December 2023, things appear to be moving fast. The Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, is acting on the indictment of Dozie by a Security and Exchange Commission that blew the cover over Dozie Mobosi's alleged fraudulent acts, using Tingo Group, which he is the CEO, to defraud unsuspecting investors. Mobosi, who has gone under for some days now, stepped down as Tingo's co-CEO on December 20, 2 days after the US SEC filed civil charges accusing him of orchestrating a staggering fraud between 2019 to 2023. It is believed that he has siphoned at least $16 million from Tingo Group and Agrim Fintech Holdings by orchestrating the sale of Tingo Mobile and Tingo Foods to the group as profitable, generating millions of dollars in revenue. In other words, he falsely portrays the businesses as cash-rich, revenue-generating companies looting millions of dollars by misappropriating cash and selling stock at inflated prices. Recall that in June 2023, Tingo Foods Processing announced it was commencing the construction of an agro-processing hub in Delta State, Nigeria. The president of Tingo Foods and Mobile, Chris Cleverly, a man whose name has popped up in this saga, was in Nigeria for that ceremony. There is one thing apparent in all this. No farmer is coming out to say he or she uses Tingo Mobile for their Greek business, and 7 months after the foundation laying ceremony of Tingo Foods Hub, it still exists only on paper. Jide Olaniran, TV 360, Lagos.
Former Minister of Women Affairs and Social Development, Pauline Talon, has filed 13 grounds before the Court of Appeal Abuja Division to challenge the judgment of the Federal Capital Territory High Court in respect of the, in quote, kangaroo public comments she made over a Federal High Court decision. Talon, in the notice of appeal dated December 29, 2023, challenged the whole decision of Justice Peter Kekemeke, delivered on December 18th, in favor of the Incorporated Trustees of the Nigeria Bar Association. In the judgment, the court declared that Talon's statement was unconstitutional, careless, reckless, disparaging, a call to disobey the judgment of the court, and therefore contemptuous of the Federal High Court of Nigeria. The court ordered that the injunction restraining the defendant from holding any public office in Nigeria shall become perpetual if she fails to abide by the order directing her to publish an apology letter within 30 days. In the wake of the arrest of some candidates of 86 regular recruits intake who are from Kaduna State who claimed Lagos as their state of origin, the Nigeria Army has vowed to prosecute those trying to breach its recruitment process. In the wake of the arrest of some candidates of 86 regular recruits intake who are from Kaduna State who claimed Lagos as their state of origin. The Nigerian Army has vowed to prosecute those trying to breach its recruitment process. Describing the incident as a serious breach, the Army spokesman, Major General Onyema Nwachukwu, says the arrest of the fraudulent candidate shows the Nigerian Army's move stems from its commitment to uphold the transparent and credible recruitment process in line with its core values of integrity and fairness. Nwachukwu added the investigation will ascertain the extent of these fraudulent activities and to identify any individual or syndicate involved. Well, joining me on the news to speak on this further is security expert, retired Captain Yahaya Umar. Thank you for your time, sir. Now, what is your reaction to the discovery of candidates attempting to gain employment into the Army by using fake indigenship documents?
It's unfortunate that although it's not a new thing, it has been happening in many recruitment. That's why the recruitment exercise conducted by the Army to fish out those who claim to be what they are, or whereas they are not the actual owner. And it's not about the indigenship per se. So many criminal activities have been going on in terms of recruitment exercise. And the Army, that's why they conducted all these type of rigorous exercise so that people will not be found wanting to join the military. Because if you look at the scenario, when you start the recruitment exercise from age declaration, from certificate, from medical requirement, you know, sometimes people go to fake their medical report, some people fake their ages, some people fake their documents. The Army is an institution of high value and integrity, because if the Army refuse to select the best hand in terms of not only the action, but we are talking about other ingredients. And if you look at the recruitment exercise, it's something that has been going on for many years. This is the only one that maybe it becomes so viral that people are aware. But if not, in all the state recruitment center, they used to have people with different questionable characters. And the Army, at times, maybe they are lenient to them. They'll ask them to drop them out. But I remember in 2002, when we were in Ibadan for screening into officer cadre, so many people joined from different states and they are arrested like this one. And the Army is an institution that we need to look at it beyond just selection. We are talking about character. People that we are going to be given the arm and ammunition to guide the country. So if you don't have good moral value.
Moving on, it's been a little over a week since the death of former governor of Ondo State, Oluwarotimi Akeredolu, and the Southwest Security Outfit, codenamed Amotekun, has organized a solidarity walk in Akure in his honor. Amotekun Corps, which operates in Ogun, Oyo, Osun, Ekiti, and Ondo States, was one of the Southwest security apparatus which the late governor spearheaded with other governors in the region. Walking from the popular cathedral through major streets of Akure, the people described Akeredolu's death as a blow to the fight against insecurity.
We'll be very unkind to Aketi if nothing is done to immortalize him. This is the man that came in with good intention. He did his best. He was not a pretender. He's a practical person. I mean, he was a practical person. He was straight to the point. You can't lie to him. All the good work done by him, but his footprint are still there for everyone to see.
The good work that he has done is mainly in the provision of security of lives and property in the Southwest. We all knew what the security situation was 3 years ago before Amotekun, and we are all living testimony of the fact that the security in the Southwest had greatly improved. So we are resolute and determined in continuing the good work that he started.
Conscious of what Arakunrin
has done. We are all proud of him. And as far as I'm concerned, I just feel his call to glory is just a phase, because he will continue to be with us. We were with him and we will continue to be with him.
Still in Ondo State, Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa has suspended all local government caretaker committees appointed by his predecessor, the late Oluwarotimi Akeredolu, pending the resolution of the matter in court. The caretaker committees were appointed and sworn in for the 18 local government areas and the newly created 33 local council development areas by the late governor. The governor's Aiyedatiwa's directive also included the requirement that the suspended caretaker chairman submit without delay all assets and properties of the LGAs and LCDAs. On their part, members of the caretaker committees have filed a counter application to secure a reprieve for a stay of execution of the initial order. Stakeholders in the cocoa value chain in Nigeria are worried over the dominance of Nigeria's cocoa industry by non-Nigerians, and as a result, they are seeking government protection through policies that will stimulate the local cocoa economy. In a bid to achieve their aim, they are putting together a forum that will chart a new course for an industry which used to be Nigeria's cash cow. Details in this next report.
Cocoa was one of the main sources of income in Nigeria before independence in 1960, but that changed following the discovery and exportation of crude oil in commercial quantities in the 1970s. Today, cocoa farmers and agripreneurs are grounding over foreign interference and dominance on Nigeria's cocoa industry, as Nigeria has lost its leading position in the production and export of cocoa over the years. To address this challenge, the International Cocoa Diplomacy says arrangements have been concluded to hold the 2024 International Cocoa and Chocolate Forum, ICCF, in Nigeria this January to chart a way forward for the local cocoa economy. The Abuja session will be held on Tuesday the 9th, and the Lagos session will be held on Thursday, 11th of January 2024.
ICCF 2024 Nigeria is a call to action to continue the discussion where policy formation will meet investment requirements for the sole purpose of creating the cocoa culture that will begin to intentionally add value to cocoa and create wealth at origin to reduce dominance of the industry by consuming regions.
It is instructive to note that the cocoa industry, which includes cocoa beans, chocolate, cake, and all of that, is worth about 200 billion annually, out of which the entire West African producing region, made up of Cote d'Ivoire, Ghana, Cameroon, and Nigeria, which account for about 70 to 75% of global output, earns only 10 billion.
The ICCF is a main platform for international cocoa diplomacy for networking, partnerships, collaborations, bilateral trade, ideas, and cultural exchange. The event with the theme Putting Value in Cocoa at Producing Regions is being organized by the International Cocoa Diplomacy in partnership with Nigerian Export and Import Bank (NEXIM) and Cocoa Research Institute of Nigeria.
The most important aspect of value addition is not even physical. It's very soft. Two things: policy, research, innovation. The rest comes after that. It's about getting the right quantitative analysis of the cocoa flavor on our cocoa based on agricultural practices.
The crop, which is cocoa, is Nigeria's top agricultural export, with 122.89 billion earned from the export of raw cocoa beans and cocoa products in 2022. As I've been rightly said, if we have added value to it, it should have been more than that. But Nigerian cocoa production has actually dwindled over the year, and it has been degraded to just about 340 metric tons during the 2021 season. And we are now number 7 in the world.
The stakeholders say putting necessary policies in place would help to optimize the potentials of the local cocoa industry in order to compete with West African neighbors like Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire.
It's time for a break, but still ahead, Ukraine swaps hundreds of prisoners in the largest release since the start of the Russia-Ukraine war. Stay with us, we'll be back shortly. Welcome back. Here's a recap of our top stories. The former Chief Executive Officer of Tingo Group, Odogo Banye Mobosi, also known as Dozie Mobosi, has been charged with fraud by U.S. prosecutors in Manhattan. The 45-year-old has also been charged with conspiracy and forgery by falsifying documents and deceiving investors with false U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission filings. The prosecutors explained that Mobosi, through 2019 to 2023, orchestrated a scheme to enrich himself by falsely representing that Nigerian companies he founded, Tingo Mobile and Tingo Foods, were operational, profitable businesses generating hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue, respectively. We also told you that in the wake of the arrest of some candidates of 86 regular recruits intake who are from Kaduna State who claimed Lagos as their state of origin, the Nigerian Army has vowed to prosecute those trying to breach its recruitment process. Describing the incident as a serious breach, the Army spokesperson Major General Onyema Nwachukwu said the arrest of the fraudulent candidates shows the Nigerian Army's move stems from its commitment to uphold the transparent and credible recruitment process in line with its core values of integrity and fairness. Now, in case you missed any of our news bulletins, so for more updates, you can catch us on Limex World TV or log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at TV360 Nigeria, or download our mobile app on Google Play Store, Huawei App Gallery, and Apple Store. On Facebook, we're at TV360 Online. In business, recent data from the Financial Markets Dealers Quotation Group shows 56 Nigerian companies raised 1.504 trillion naira through commercial papers in 2023, representing a 499% increase from the 251 billion naira raised in 2022. MTN Nigeria PLC raised the highest amount, followed by Dangote Cement. Outside commercial papers, some companies also utilized the corporate bonds route to raise funds. With the monetary policy rate at 18.75%, bank lending rates to companies have skyrocketed, hitting as high as 30%. We'll take a break and return with a stock market report. Nigeria's equities market furthered its positive rally into 2024, rising by 0.62% on Thursday as the NGX All-Share Index also increased to 77,537.57 basis points, indicating a year-to-date return of 3.7%. Thursday's market capitalization also increased to 42.7 trillion naira, while the market turnover increased to 10.16 billion naira. 48 stocks advanced and 23 stocks declined, indicating a positive market breadth. Wema Bank PLC topped the gainers list with a 10% share price appreciation, followed by Learn Africa, also with a 10% share price appreciation. Thursday's data shows 6% improvement in volume, 4% improvement in turnover, and 12% improvement in deals. Now, on the flip side, foreign treasury yields rose and technology stocks slumped after robust jobs data sparked doubt about how soon and deeply the Federal Reserve could start cutting interest rates. So select foreign stocks are not left out of the loss, with the UK's FTSE and US Dow Jones trading in the bull region, while the Japan's Nikkei maintained its low trade as well. On the foreign scene, Ukraine and Russia have disclosed the exchange of over 200 captive soldiers each in what officials have described as the biggest prisoner swap of the war so far, following talks mediated by the United Arab Emirates. Moscow's defense ministry added that 248 of its servicemen had been returned and that they were being provided with medical and psychological assistance. Both warring sides have carried out dozens of exchanges since Moscow invaded in February 2022, but the process stalled in the latter half of last year. In a subsequent message via Telegram, President Zelensky hailed the outcome as good news. And on sports, football enthusiasts in Nigeria have begun nursing a growing disenchantment with their national team ahead of the Africa Cup of Nations men's football competition AFCON, which is set to take place in Ivory Coast from January 13 to February 11, 2024. Some of them remember the golden days of the Super Eagles and say the current state of football in the country could affect the nation's national team's performance at the AFCON Championship. Our correspondent, Sydney Okafor, has more on this story.
The countdown for the 34th edition of the African biggest soccer showpiece has begun, and it is already attracting global attention due to the continent's array of football stars who will be on parade at the fiesta. Super Eagles appeared in Group A of this year's AFCON with host nation Ivory Coast, fast improving Equatorial Guinea and Guinea-Bissau, who have qualified for a record-breaking 4 consecutive editions. Nigerian Super Eagles are always seen as one of the favorites in any AFCON tournament. Josep Pesero's 25-man team is packed with players capable of doing serious harm to their opponents.
Okay, so for the 25-man list, I would say it's okay. I think majority of the players on that list are players we are familiar with. However, you can't ignore the fact that we don't have a lot of home-based players in the side. And this is a call to the NFF, it's a call to everyone, every stakeholder in Nigeria that we need to develop the game.
On paper, we say we are one of the best in the world, even in Africa, because we have the CAF award winner, Victor Osimhen in our team. We have one of the biggest. We saw what the Wobie is doing at Fulham. We can see what Calvin is doing at Fulham as well. We have even what I know is doing at Nottingham Forest. So we have these players. Even Boniface. Boniface has won Rookie of the Month, 4 times consecutively, in Germany now with Bayer Leverkusen. So on paper we look very good, but in recent games we will not be playing well. So if you cannot, do well on the field, it's not necessarily what you have on paper.
The 3-time African champion Super Eagles is seeking their 4th glory in the history of the African Cup of Nations, which could reinforce the team's position as a football powerhouse. Sports analysts say the Super Eagles have a good chance of winning since everything internally and externally has been sorted.
I wouldn't say we don't have a chance. We do have a chance, but the Super Eagles, I put them as 3rd favourites going into the AFCON behind Senegal, who are defending champions, and Morocco, who had a fantastic World Cup in 2022. So it's Senegal, Morocco, and the Super Eagles of Nigeria.
I saw the names, and you know what I mean, like if you tell the names to other teams, because even my team in Denmark, when they ask like, you people have this player, you people have this player, they'll be like, you people should be winning the whole game, the whole cup. I was like, bro, yeah, individually, yes, we are amazing, but as a group, that's just the problem, you know what I mean? But I feel like we have the best players, we have the best team to win the Nations Cup at the moment right now.
Many other nations feared the Super Eagles during their golden days on the continent due to their creativity on the field of play. But these analysts say the Super Eagles need to rediscover the fear factor which has faded.
If we must return back to those good old glory days, we must start establishing that fear factor that the Super Eagles once possessed. Right now, teams are not scared of the Super Eagles anymore. And if we must win the Nations Cup, if we hope to win the Nations Cup, we must ensure that we beat, when I mean beat everything that comes our way very, very well.
You see commander fear factor, people still respect, people still fear us, especially the fact that we got players who are doing a lot of great numbers in Europe. Victor Osimhen, African Footballer of the Year. If you're coming to the Nations Cup with an African football of the year, it means that there will be a fair factor in your opponent. But they will respect you. It doesn't mean that they will give you the chance to beat them on the pitch. So, I mean, we have to take that respect. We have to take advantage of it, convert it to result, convert it by converting our chances.
At the last edition in 2021, the Super Eagles, as one of the favorites, was sent packing in the second round by less fancied Tunisia team. For a team that is unbeaten in their last 6 games, Nigerians should be hopeful about these ambassadors. Sydney Okafor, TV360, Lagos.
That wraps up our bulletin. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.